Some functions are specifically linear functions. Linear functions can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. M would be a number, b would be a number. So the important thing with linear functions is that it's plain old ordinary x. No squares, no cubes, no square roots, no 2 divided by x. You can't have x in the denominator. Just plain ordinary normal x. Linear functions form lines when you graph them. We're going to talk about function notation in a minute. First, I want to look at these 3 functions and decide which of them are linear and which of them are not. Let's look at number 7 first, the one in the middle. Is that function a linear function? Negative 2/3 times x squared minus x plus 5. No. Why is it not linear? Because x is squared. So why is it not linear? It's not linear because of that square. Let's take a look at number 8. Is number 8 linear? 2x plus 3. Yes, linear. Now let's look at number 6. It kind of sort of looks linear because it's plain x, but what's around that x? What do those lines mean? Absolute value. Absolute value represents the distance that something is from 0. So the absolute value of 5 is 5 because 5 is 5 units from 0. The absolute value of negative 5 is positive 5 because negative 5 is 5 units from 0. Here's what an absolute value graph actually looks like. It's a V shape because the absolute value of 5 is 5 and the absolute value of negative 5 is positive 5. So yes, the graph forms lines, but it's not one continuous line. This is actually called a piecewise function because there's the right piece and the left piece. It's 2 different lines and there's 2 pieces to the graph. So we call this not linear. Okay, next, function notation. Do you notice that these 3, instead of saying y equals, they have the f and the parentheses and the x? That means f of x. So this thing means f of x. If I hear you saying f negative 6 or f parentheses thingy, we are going to start saying it over and over as a class until you say it correctly. I want you to say math correctly. So this says f of x. Why in the world would mathematicians use this notation? This is a way to identify specific functions. We can call one of the functions f, we can call another one g, we can call another one h, another one j. So if you're talking about functions with somebody else, you can easily identify which function you're talking about. The other thing is it allows you to see your input and your output in one mathematical statement. So let's do this. They want us to evaluate f of negative 6. F of negative 6 means take the f function, plug negative 6 in everywhere that you see an x. So absolute value of negative 6 minus 5. What is the absolute value of negative 6? 6, and then 6 minus 5 is 1. So we write f of negative 6 equals 1. We do not divide by negative 6. We do not try to get that f by itself. It's not saying we have to do anything with it. It's just a fancy way of saying y equals. F of x is a fancy y equals. But we like to see this because now in our answer, we can see, and I'll highlight as I say it, we used the f function. We plugged negative 6 into it, and we got 1 as our answer. So it shows you both the input and the output all in one statement. The next one you will probably need your calculator for. We are going to do f of 4. Okay, f of 4. We are going to plug 4 in everywhere we see the x. So negative 2/3 times 4 squared minus 4 plus 5. You can use your calculator for this. If you have the scientific calculator, use your fraction button. -2 fraction button 3 times 4 squared minus 4 plus 5. If you have a graphing calculator, do parentheses, -2 divided by 3, close your parentheses, and then finish that out exactly as it's written. Once you get your answer, it's some crazy decimal, change it back into a fraction, and make sure it's an improper fraction, not a mixed number. What do you guys get? -29/3. The correct way to write this answer is f of 4 equals -29/3. Okay, the next one is hopefully easier. We are evaluating f of -7. So plug -7 in. 2 times -7 plus 3. What do you get? Okay, normally I'm not a huge stickler about like picky little math things. This I am picky about. If it's using function notation, you need to write your answer f of -7 equals -11. There's a reason that mathematicians use function notation, so if it's in function notation, use the function notation. Notice we did not divide by -7 to get rid of that -7. We're not solving this. This simply says we used the function f, we plugged -7 into it, and it gave us -11 as our answer.